Welcome everyone to the Proven Knowledge Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Church. I'm a music producer from Northeast Ohio. I began this weekly interview series to give you different perspectives from artists, producers, engineers, and other individuals in the music industry. In each episode, we touch on not only what has helped the person succeed, but we also touch on what has shaped them into the person that they are today. I hope you're able to gain some real proven knowledge from the show, and that it helps elevate you on your own journey to success as well. Let's get into it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 265 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. Today, I welcomed a South Carolina-based singer, songwriter, artist, actor. Her name is Alexus Bria. Shout out to Dom, as always, who introduced me to Alexus. Got in touch with her a few months back, and we finally made the episode happen this week. This was a really cool one. Alexus is someone who has an incredible work ethic, wears many hats, like I said. We talked about the parallels between her, acting career, what it means to be able to film and meet people in the entertainment industry, and also the shared love that she has, doing acting with music, and really the parallels of how doing both has benefited her in many different ways. I love the messages she talked about in this episode about, staying true to yourself, doing things that you love, and more importantly, living life for you. At the end of the day, it is your life. You are a one of one, and you gotta, sit down with yourself from time to time and say, why am I doing these things that I'm doing? Why are they so important to me? And really ground yourself in your why and what that means. And we talk about that a lot on this show. But I love, what she's doing in her own life, and really just the way she's putting that, out in real time through her incredible work ethic. And with an album just recently released and more new music on the horizon, I'm definitely excited to see what she's going to be putting out real soon. So shout out to Alexus for stopping by and spreading good vibes. And once again, shout out to Dom for getting us in touch. And I'm excited to have her on again real soon. So without further ado, let's get into this one. So we usually have the guests kind of start out, just give some background, how you got involved in music. But for you, I know you do other things, acting, all kinds of different hats that you wear. So just let us know whatever you want as an introduction, whatever you feel is best.
Pretty much the same thing. So I go by Alexus Bria. I am from Hopkins, South Carolina. I sing, I songwrite, I rap, I act. I am an entertainer. I just am multifaceted. I just do a lot of different things when it comes to the industry. So, yeah. It's kind of like whatever you can think of, I can do it,
Incredible. That's incredible. And I know that Dom is the one that connected us, and Dom is a great individual, someone that I've been working with closely here for the last few months. So shout out to Dom, first of all.
Yeah, shout out to Dom.
Yeah.
He's actually my marketing coach. So he has a lot of different things where he sets up just marketing gigs for me, pushing me out there, different podcasts like you guys, building both of our brands to the highest level that we can, and just connecting.
Absolutely. Well, shout out to Dom. And, for you, I know having to wear many hats, that probably is a lot to deal with. And I kind of want to know which one kind of came first. Was music kind of the introduction to the entertainment world, and then, acting was kind of the next venture? Or like, what was really the genesis of this journey for you?
So, in high school, I would say, let's start with music. I sung my first song. I led my first song, of course, in church as a gospel choir, just leader at the time. But I was 3 years old when I started singing. And I recorded my first song at 10 years old. My mom she was accepted into Juilliard, and, she does a lot of singing herself. And so traveling with her, singing with her, kind of helping her out with her music career and doing those things like in that nature as far as gospel goes. I just kind of grew up into it. My grandfather sang and traveled. He had a quartet group. They, from here to New York, they made a lot of different waves, but that was in the early 50s and 60s. My mom, again, in the 90s. And then it's like a lot of my family does music, a lot of people that I'm connected to. Of course, we all grew up in the church, so just kind of playing instruments, and that led me into becoming my own artist. After I got old enough to, venture out and to do things that's outside of gospel and Christianity, I kind of started finding my own sound. And so, yeah, a lot of that came from that specifically.
Yeah, for sure. And was there a specific moment as far as finding your own sound is concerned? Was there a specific, maybe a song or moment that kind of said to you, I've found what lane it is that I'm trying to go for as an artist? Or did it kind of just come progressively and naturally over the last few years, you think?
Honestly, for real, Anthony, I still haven't found the sound.
Mm.
And I would like to, and I only say that because I experiment with different sounds. I've tried country songs, I've tried Southern soul songs, I've tried hip hop, I've tried R&B. Like, there's nothing, pop. Everything that's on the genre list, I have went down the waves to try because, growing up, I was growing up in a diverse community, and so that introduced me to a lot of pop and metal and just different sounds of music. And that's when I learned that there's no, music has no color. So just listening to music and feeling different things, I think that allowed me to experience something and open up my mind. A lot of people didn't think that I should listen to, Pink and Panic at the Disco and just different artists in that age range. For me, I'm kind of telling my age now, but yeah, like when the Fall Out Boys, just a lot of different artists like that I experienced and I used to resonate with and had a lot of different sounds. And I don't think that I found that sound, honestly. I think that I'm still experimenting to find a sound because I don't have a hit song. And so I'm going to keep experiencing until I have a song that actually is a hit. And I think that that's when I'll feel like I found my sound,
For sure.
But preferably for me, R&B, of course. I love R&B. I dropped an R&B project recently. It's called Diary of a Loved Woman, and it's out on all platforms. It's just kind of me basically giving my raw emotions in a diary. So, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And I guess that kind of leads into kind of a segue into songwriting and really just your process as far as putting songs together goes. Mm-hmm. Would you consider yourself an artist that, you're always writing, no matter if you're hearing like a beat or not? Or are you someone that likes to go to the studio, sit down, really hear a lot of beats and write to them and kind of just go from there? Like, how does your process work, especially nowadays, and how has it evolved, let's say, over the past, 5 years or so?
So I would say in the beginning, of course, I would go to the studio and sit down and just kind of run through beats and listen to different things. But there's moments where, I've dealt with relationships and I've just sat in my room and the words came to me before the music did. And then I had to make the songs around the music. I don't go into the studio and write songs to beats anymore. I don't do that. I literally just write songs. I just write music. As a songwriter, it comes to me anywhere. I can have a piece of a song or I can have a melody that just happens. And I don't know where it's coming from, but sometimes it just sounds the best that way for me. So just sitting down and just finding words that fit with or resonate with my experiences or my situations or my relationships. That's my process now. I lock myself in a room. Like the project that I put out, I locked myself in the room a couple months ago and I didn't come out and I just cried and I just felt those feelings and I wrote them down on the paper and I'm like, yo, these are like raw emotions. I feel like they would be a good song. And then I went through the beats and I'm like, okay, does this fit here? Does this fit there? Just kind of different things in that nature.
Yeah. I think, no, you're good. I think sometimes that's the best way to do it too, because you're allowing yourself to get those vulnerable feelings to the surface. You know what I mean? I don't think you can always do that when you're constantly on the go or maybe even surrounded by other individuals all the time. I think it's good to have that alone time as an artist to really sit back and reflect on okay, what has happened to me in the past year or so? How can I channel that into what I'm trying to go for in this body of work?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think it's great to hear that for you that's been the case, and being able to do that recently. And is that kind of the goal for each new body of work that you're trying to work on, or even the singles? How do you approach each step of the journey? Is it always the same, or is it kind of like you're just letting life come to you, and then you're gonna, kind of react to that through the creative process, no matter what life is telling you in that moment?
Yeah, sometimes I'm around people. Sometimes I'm doing different things. I kind of just let life happen, and based off of those moments in life, I get words, and sometimes I want to talk about it. Sometimes it feels too personal to talk about, or I've just learned that even over time, as far as the singles go, those are just moments in my life where I experienced something from a conversation with somebody, a friend or a family member, or, like, again, a relationship or a friendship or any type of situation. Maybe it could just be me doing anything. Literally, I don't have to have a moment or a quiet time. Now, for this project, it was a quiet moment. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But for those singles that come, they're not normally quiet moments. They're just moments of, okay, I think that this song would sound like, I think that this would be a good song, or that's a conversation, like, or me talking, like, one of my songs is called Live For Me, right? I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over my words a little bit, but one of my songs is called Live For Me, and me and my mom was having a conversation, and my mom is like, my mom is a pastor, and so, she has this life that she lives, and I'm not a pastor. I mean, I questioned Christianity for a long time, honestly. Sometimes I didn't feel right to have those feelings. I didn't even feel like God heard my prayer. So it was like growing up in a family, in a household where you don't even understand what your own emotions are. Like, you're having to collect conversations through people and have your own experiences. It wasn't for me to have those encounters. It wasn't for her to have those encounters. It was for me to have an encounter, and personally, that's what I chose after my encounters. But before then, I questioned a lot of different things. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but even with that conversation, she was just saying, you can't live for me. Like, you can't live this perfect life. You can't go out here and do all of these things that I'm doing. That is not your life. Your life is your life, and my life is mine. And she was like, live for you. And so, boom, title of the song came off the conversation of me living for me always trying to live to please my parents, or me trying to live to please the people around me, my family. That resonated with me so heavy, because I know I'm not the only person that, going to college, like, my major, it just kind of depended on my family and people in my life who, oh, you should do this, oh, you should do that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it kind of like woke me up to say, you know what, I'm going to live for myself. And I wanted it to be a single because I wanted it to be something that wasn't attached to anything. I wanted it to be by itself, kind of like the saying of the song. So, like, it always just goes based off of experiences in life, and that's the songwriting process: conversations, relationships, situations. Me having a child with my child's father, like, I was 23. I had just finished college. I was trying to figure out what my life was going to be like, and then to find out I have a kid. And then, we were together for 7 years. He was like my fiance. We were like living together, like, and then he's like cheating. And so now I'm like, okay, I'm finally moving on. I'm finally getting out of the situation. But now I met another guy, and it's like, should I date? Is it too soon? Like, and that's another song. I don't want problems with your girlfriend. Leave me and my next man alone. That's another situation. So it just kind of goes based off of those things and those experiences in my own personal life.
Yeah, and it's crazy because that there's relatability in all of that too with the listeners and how they'll be receiving it too. Especially what you just mentioned about, kind of having your family steer you one way or the other, or even just like, I feel like a lot of creatives deal with that in different ways from just people in general, where it's almost like, doing anything creative like music or art or anything like that, it's kind of frowned upon because it's not looked at as something that is like viable, especially if you're not from a big market like in LA or New York where there's a lot of opportunity. Sure. It's like people look at that as, kind of unrealistic or whatever. So, as creatives, we all kind of deal with that in our own ways and different ways. So, like, you hear a song like that, you would resonate with that and be like, well, I have dealt with this in my own journey, so here's what it means to me. And I think that's just, the power of music in general. And then being able to channel your own unique voice into that is something super special, for sure. And I'm definitely curious to know about the parallels between the acting side and the music side, because obviously they're both, under the umbrella of entertainment, under the entertainment industry. For you, like, how do you balance kind of the parallels between both? And is there ever like scheduling conflicts between, what you're doing with acting gigs and what you're doing trying to put out your own music? And how do you really balance the two nowadays, do you think?
Ooh, man, it's tough. though they're in the same field of entertainment, they're completely separate entities. Acting is acting. You know, you have to be on set for 12 hours at a time. You have to be open in your day, your week, and you never know when your schedule is going to film again, or it's so many different ways that you have to be available for that, and sometimes it still conflicts where I do have a show out of town somewhere, or like even recently I was supposed to be at the BET Awards or the AMA Awards, and then I had another show here, or I was supposed to be filming on Tyler Perry's set, and then I have a show here, and it's like, should I go make this money or should I go make this money? Which one is more, sometimes I still have to choose between which one is more important at the time. I need some money in my pocket right now for my show, or do I really need to go be a part of this set and mingle? And honestly, once you get to that place on the set, you'll see that there are actually a lot of people that are there, that work there, and no matter what their job titles are, they always do something when it comes to music, or as it relates to the entertainment industry. Podcasts, you got people that's doing podcasts that's there. You got, PAs that are like videographers and photographers. You have anybody that's doing something with the arts, because, acting and being on set, actually, you can have a degree and you can actually use your degree and be in the entertainment field and make money. You don't have to wait to make money. As in being an artist, you have to wait till you actually gain some momentum, have some type of fame, or have a type of following that's going to follow you to your different shows. Whereas when you come straight into the door, when it comes to acting, no matter what your role is, you're always going to get paid. Yeah. And so I think that is where we all meet, and we all agree that it's beneficial for you regardless, because you're always going to meet somebody that's going to be doing what you're doing, but in a different way, and we can always help each other out. And we're at the same time, we're networking and we're making money. We still, when we get off a set, there's a way for us to be, all right, let's shoot that video, let's talk business on that. And because we're all, hungry for that success, everybody's pockets is kind of looking the same, especially when you're working for 12 hours for this amount. Like, everybody is on the same page, and it's very easy so it does actually all fit and tie together. Honestly, I didn't even know that until I actually started going on bigger sets and movies and things like that. But it started in middle school, like anybody else, drama class, drama teachers, and just being a part of that and having the arts inside of me, and always coming home to different people that are artists and artistic. It's always been a love there for me, but there always has also been one side of my dad is always like, go to school, get your education, get a real job. He calls it a pipe dream. Until he sees me actually on that stage and getting those standing ovations and having, people come from different places to actually see, like, okay, wait, my daughter's actually really talented at this. It wasn't about that for so long. And that took till now, like this year for him those words to even come out of his mouth. And this has been a long journey, but like, even though I've gained some success, that's still not real to them. Like, it's not tangible. It's not something that I can take and I can feed my daughter off of. Yeah. I have to get a job. I have to have an actual career. And so it's a lot, it's a lot. But at the end of the day, I don't do it for the fame or the money. I do it because it's a part of who I am, and I'm going to do it and create regardless of if anything comes out of it, because it's a part of me that it's a type of therapy for me. And, going through therapy, there are good ways to channel your energy and your anger, and there's bad ways to do it. And for a long time, in the Black community, and I'm just going to say this honestly, that we don't talk about being in therapy. We think that it's frowned upon against, and not being able to have effective communication as a grown woman with a child, that I did this for myself and I did this for my child. You know what I'm saying? I did this for my healing, and I did this to find out what are the best ways for me to cope and heal from different experiences. And so I think that all of the acting and all of putting that together and having those outlets that are healthy habits for myself, that's how I got into the umbrella of all of the things. Yeah. They kind of just work together.
Yeah. Hey there, hope you're enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick minute out to let you know about a couple different ways that you can support the podcast. One of the ways is by clicking that support the podcast button within your streaming platform. That is if you want to be a monthly supporter of the show. You can contribute either 99 cents, $5, or $10 a month. So that's the first way, and that's the more traditional way that we've had now for the last couple years. The other method that we actually just recently introduced is from our good friends over at Ko-fi. Ko-fi is a virtual tip jar. We have set our limit to a minimum of $10, but you can go make one-time, one-off donations. So if you visit ko-fi.com/the Proven Knowledge Podcast, you'll be able to donate. And all these different forms of donation go towards getting new guests every single week, getting potential sponsors on board to do giveaways, and overall just making the show better for you guys. So if you want to do that Ko-fi link, it's ko-fi.com/the Proven Knowledge Podcast. Otherwise, again, look for that support the podcast button in your streaming platform if you'd like to be a monthly supporter. And I just want to say thank you guys for your contributions. And without further ado, let's get back into the episode. I love that. And I think it goes to show that you still have the love for it too at the end of the day. And that's the most important thing. Because like you said, you're not living for anyone else. You're living your own life. This is your story that you're telling. And that's really what you got to keep always centering yourself around is like, you know, what do I want at the end of the day? And how am I going to be able to live the most prosperous life that I can through that and being able to do that. So I think that's great. And I think that also kind of leads me into talking more about, you know, you said a big thing is being able to have a lot of different opportunities come your way, exciting opportunities through acting and through music, and doing that through networking. Is there ever moments where, you know, you get presented with an opportunity that you have to turn down for one reason or another, to avoid burnout or just to avoid, you know, taking the wrong opportunity? Like if you feel it in your gut, like this could be good, but I don't feel like this is right for me. Have you dealt with that? And like, how do you deal with that now, especially since, you know, things are picking up more and more?
I have dealt with it. My dad always has this saying is, you know, all money is not good money. Mm-hmm. And I think that keeping myself separate from certain situations has also allowed me to be labeled in a way or be seen or sought after in a more respectable way, because it's never personal. It's always about business. Mm-hmm. And it's always about, is this going to make me 10 years from now, if I see this, is this going to do something that's going to, number one, make me proud of my art, or make me see, okay, wait, did I grow from this, or was this something that I was trying to do at the time? There have been movies, there have been shows, there have been people who wanted me to do different things, and I met some people during those things, and to look at their content or to see their actual movies that they put out, they weren't for me. Those situations weren't for me. Even sometimes when I get on set, if it goes against my morals, if it makes me be displayed in a different negative light or a way that I don't like, I'm not doing that, you know? And you have to be able to do those things. You have to be able to say no to certain things so that you know how far you can go and how far you can be pushed. Don't allow nobody else to tell you who you should be. Okay, this is a good look for you. I don't want to be naked on TV. I don't want my daughter to see me out there looking like that. I don't care if it's now or later, and I don't care how much money it is. I'm not doing it. You know, respect me, respect my art, and respect my talent. And if you want me to do something where it doesn't go against my morals, then I'm going to do it. I'm tired. I'm not going to be burnt out. I'm going to always make time for the things that matter to me that are in real life, because even after this, I still have to live with my decisions, and I'm not going against anything I'm going to put my daughter before certain things. You know, I'm going to make sure that she's taken care of. Like, I'm not going out of my way to do anything that isn't going to benefit me in the long run, or to even make me look like it's not going to make me look bad. Yeah. I mean, just simple as that. So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's definitely something to be respected as well, I think. And I think it's something that a lot of people need reminded of, too, because it can be so easy to kind of just take that, almost like take the easy bait, you know what I mean? Even if it's like, oh, that's a big check. But it's like, what are you giving up just for that big check? And it's just a temporary thing, too. I like what you said about how 10 years from now, like what is the lasting impact of these decisions you're making? And that's why they're so important. And I just think it's like taking one opportunity at a time and then being able to see that big picture and saying like, is that something that I want to pursue? And am I going to look back on that and say, that was a good decision or not? So I'm glad to hear for you that that's been the case. And I think that's very respectable.
Those roles, I'm not sure if you're familiar with P-Valley, but P-Valley is a show where, they script on that show, right? And a lot of my friends is like, you can go and you can make $5,000 from being on that show. All you gotta do is show a little bit of boobs. And I'm like, yeah, nah.
Yeah. Because it's like, could you live with your decision to do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
No, I'm not doing it. I think that might be good for you if that's what is okay for you. But for me, as a mom that has a 9-year-old who is like going through life and, maybe she gets 18 and she's like, and they're like, yo, is that your mom with her boobs out? Like, I'm making those decisions so I don't embarrass her later and embarrass myself, because that's not something that I will be proud of.
Yeah.
Just because it's about the money or just because it's about being seen at that time does not mean that it's something that is going to help me out later on in life. So absolutely.
For sure. Well, I got to say, I got to commend you on that. And that's definitely something to be respected. So congratulations on that for sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And before I get into the last few questions here, I guess I just want to know, is there anything coming up? I know we're like halfway through the year at this point. I think we're at like the exact halfway mark of 2025. Is there anything you got coming up in the next 6 months that you want to let people know about? It could be music, or it could be, any other opportunity or any big thing that you want people to know about.
Well, I actually filmed on Sisters in May. So, Sisters Season 10 from Tyler Perry, that's probably going to be out very soon. Again, my project that also dropped the same day that I was on set, which was super dope. And I think it was amazing because it's the same type of title that kind of coincides with Tyler Perry's first big breakout movie. This album has reached over 10,000 streams on all platforms, so I think that that's something to be commendable as an independent artist. I think that was a major milestone for me. I have a show, a live band, a show, kind of like jazzy R&B that's happening on Wednesday, Wine Down Wednesday, where I do free wine for the ladies. That's coming up. And I'm just constantly working. I'm working on more music, of course. Yeah. I'm working on more music, working with some really dope producers. And I'm probably going to be attending award shows. So I guess those are things to look forward to right now.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Awesome. A lot of awesome possibilities in there. So that's incredible. That's definitely incredible. And these last few questions here, these are life-related ones. These are ones I ask on every single episode. The first one is, if you could go back 10 years ago and give yourself any piece of advice at all, or maybe not change anything at all, what do you think you would do?
I would go back and tell myself to finish that degree and always have something to fall back on. Listen to your parents, even though you can't stand them right now. Listen to your parents because they are here to help you, not hurt you, and make the decisions that you're not going to regret later on in life. And don't be afraid to stand alone. Everybody's not your friend.
Yeah, for sure. Parents mean well. They really do. It's hard to. I know it's hard to. It's hard to remember.
Like, I hate you. So.
Yeah, for sure.
I think every teenager went through that phase of like just hating their parents. So like, I think at that moment it would definitely be, finish everything that you start and, love on yourself a little bit harder. Don't allow people to treat you any kind of way. And the moment that you feel like you're not being treated your worth, then leave. Any situation, any friendship.
Yeah. If we flip that question then and we say 10 years from now, where do you think you envision yourself acting, music, and just life in general as well?
I am manifesting manifesting number one on a call sheet. So hopefully I am filming in major movies with box office making over billions.
Yeah.
Being able to have that breakout role in multiple movies and just constantly working, being able to have that single that is charting on the billboards, being able to receive awards, being able to everything that I'm so close to right now. I would just say keep working. And it's been so many times where I felt like I wanted to give up. I still think about giving up sometimes. Like, okay, maybe I should just, this phase of my life is over, but it's like, continue to do what makes myself happy. I'm going to say manifesting number one on the call sheet in a major movie, in a major film, in a major network, having that breakout role that shows people my acting abilities, having a song that is, even if I've just written a song for a major or mainstream artist that has made it, that's out there, that has been Billboard number one, top 100 for over, 10 weeks or something like that. Number one, I'm manifesting a Billboard number one, whether I songwrite it or whether it's me. Mm-hmm. So one of those things, receiving awards, I've always dreamt of. I have my Grammy speech in my phone. So hopefully I'm gonna get that one day. Yeah. I have my my EGOT speech and my Emmy. I'm hoping to get an Emmy or Oscar. Yeah, Emmy or Oscar for my acting, and a Grammy for my music or my songwriting.
Yeah. I was just about to mention EGOT. I was like, EGOT sounds like the end goal here.
Yeah,
for sure.
EGOT is the end goal for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
EGOT is the oh my God, like EGOT is definitely
the magnum
I always
opus.
Write that in my journals and all of my papers. It's always like, I do want the Grammy, I do want the Oscar, I do want the Emmy, but if I can get that EGOT, that is what I'm going for.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome, and I wish you the best of luck on that too, because I know that it requires a lot of work, but I can tell that you have the work ethic for it, and it's going to be exciting to see, where this journey continues to lead you for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and do you have any final words of wisdom for the listeners before we get out of here?
Slow motion is better than no motion. Stay true to yourself. Like, even if things don't look how you want them to look, or even if your numbers for your shows aren't what they're supposed to be, even if it's your numbers for your songs, or if you're an artist, keep creating. Consistency and outweighs, and the work ethic outweighs any type of talent. It outweighs any type of person that is not interested in your work. And there is a marketing strategy out there that you have to see something 23 times in order for you to buy it, or in order for you to even click on it or look at it. So keep putting your stuff in people's face 23 times or more. If you're a singer, drop 2 songs with 2 different genres at a time and push them at the same rate. And see what your fans like better. If you have a podcast, try to find something that you want to do consistently, and even if it's once a month or twice a week, write out your goals, write out everything that you want to do, and try to everything is a dream until you actually write it down. That's when it actually it can be manifested in that way. And do the work. There's no shortcuts to success. There's no shortcuts in this game. If you really want to make it, Kevin Hart always says, everybody want to be famous, but don't nobody want to put the work in. You got to put the work in for yourself. And even if nobody else believes in your vision, your dreams, your goals, you believe in your vision and show people and make people treat you exactly how you treat yourself.
Yeah.
Be serious about your gifts, your talents, and anything that you do it to the fullest. Yeah. That's what I would say.
Well, Alexus, you're doing that in real time. For sure. And again, thank you so much for stopping by today. And I gotta say, I respect everything you're doing, the work ethic, like I said, and I'm excited to see what you're going to be doing here moving forward, and a lot of exciting opportunities. So congrats again. And anytime you want to stop back, let me know. I'll get in touch with Dom too, and then let him know.
Yeah, that's my guy. So thank you so much for your time, Anthony. I appreciate it. Felt more like a conversation than an interview. I always love those. So amazing job. I'm a fan of your podcast. Just send it to me, and I'll be able to share whatever I can, whenever I can.
Thanks everyone for listening today. That was episode 265. We'll be back this time next week. As always, hit that support button on your podcast streaming platform if you'd like to send us any funds. And feel free to leave us that 5-star rating if you enjoyed today's episode. So see you next week. Thanks, everyone.